my name is Keegan Olson. Along with me today, I've got my good buddy, Brian Webb. We've been working together for a long time talking about HR Help Desk. And today's topic is really centered around leveraging Oracle Service Cloud in an HR Help Desk use case. It's a product called Oracle Service Cloud for HR. So just in terms of topics that we're covering today, we'll just spend a little bit of time talking about who we are at Apex. I'll talk over some experience we've had with our customers and the challenges that they face serving their employees and their managers, and talk about some of the benefits of having a centralized HR service platform. And then we'll do some additional intro to the capabilities of the Service Cloud for HR platform. And then Brian has joined us and will be kind enough to give us a brief demo of a lot of cool stuff about the product. I'll talk quickly about a real customer transformation story that we just recently worked through. And if we've got some time, we'll talk a bit about building a business case for an HR Help Desk platform. Because that's always, and then we'll leave a bit of time at the end for some Q&A. So a little bit more about us at Apex IT. Like I said, my name is Keegan Olson. I've been with Apex for about 16 years. We're a platinum partner with Oracle. We've actually pretty well recognized and respected within the Oracle space. We've won their Partner of the Year in the CX ecosystem 4 out of the last 6 years, so pretty proud of that. And that's all based on our success doing implementations of products like this. We're, I guess, the de facto go-to partner for HR Help Desk, given our long experience thread of working in HR Help Desk with customers. And not only just HR Help Desk, we work with other call center type of technologies as well, from customer support, B2B, B2C, IT Help Desk, Finance Help Desk. We've implemented a lot of those products. And that's relevant from the HR Help Desk space because we really understand what's best practice from the service delivery standpoint. I've got great ratings on the Oracle Marketplace, so you can go out there and check us out and see what some of our customers have to say about that. It speaks a lot. As expected, we're a systems integrator, so we help implement products, and we offer a variety of service from upfront planning, strategy, helping putting together business cases, all the way through implementation services from program and project management, configuration of the tool, education, training, testing, all the way through go live, and then support after the fact. So a whole set of services that we do provide. So today, our main topic is around HR service delivery. So HR, and we worked with a lot of organizations, big and small, many different industries, many different verticals, in different states of maturity, and they all tend to have similar challenges. They all have very diverse employee populations that expect a lot. They want HR to know who they are. They need access through multiple and modern channels. They need to get answers quickly. They're all very busy in today's world. They don't want HR to lose their requests or the issues. They need a way to secure information. And have tools that are mobile accessible. Everybody in the workforce today has mobile phones and access. They need to have it in many different ways. And they need to have tools that are intuitive, easy to use, not too complex, not too many clicks. And all of those tools and all of this capabilities need to be available 24/7. So HR's challenge, and what I hear in a lot of organizations, is that they don't have the staff to support all this, all these different channels, all these different requests that are coming in. They fall behind, and often they have limited budgets to do anything about it. And because of that, they have inefficient or outdated systems. And surprisingly, even very large organizations, they don't have a centralized tool that can help them manage their work. They use phones and emails, and I'm sure that rings a bell with some of the attendees here on this webinar. They also don't have, they have limited automation, and they don't have integration in their systems. And often they have scenarios where they've got tons of paperwork that they have to work through. And it's a very time-consuming, burdensome, and very difficult way to operate. So from our perspective, how can we address that? How can we, what have we seen work well in our 20-plus years of experience? Well, number one, you need to have a service delivery methodology that really enables modern channels, giving employees the visibility to information so that they can answer their own questions. And they also need to be organized in an efficient way, having their HR organization set up in a model that is one that reduces the burden on senior level people and gives more direction on that tier 0, tier 1, your employee service center, have them resolve or deflect as many calls as possible. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Having a centralized tool to be able to facilitate all of that workflow and enable their staff is a very important part. And with all three of those pieces in place, then leveraging kind of in that crawl, walk, run methodology, leveraging data to be data-driven, to understand the volumes that you're going to be seeing, the types of inquiries so that you can adapt and affect change within the organization. But you need that data to be able to do that. So fundamentally, you need to be able to enable HR. So the big thing here is enabling your less experienced HR team members to answer more of the questions. So empower and enable HR is very important. And you also need to empower your employees. Too many times we hear of customers that are, they have this really great philosophy on, doing anything for their employees, which is important, but it's a very labor-intensive and cost-ineffective way to work on that. And you can provide tools that your employees are probably needing now and being more efficient. And Service Cloud for HR is one of those tools that can help with that. So what's that road to modern? How can you get there to be in a more mature state? Well, first, like I mentioned, enable them. Give them access to the tools and the knowledge to allow them to know the employee, to know their history when they call or when they interact or chat with your HR team, know what their needs are, and then give them the answers that they need in a very quick and efficient manner to resolve their issue. And that also helps enabling HR to be connected with the right tools that they need to be able to do all of those things. And Service Cloud is a great centralized place for an HR team to be able to do that kind of thing. They need to be organized, like I said, organizationally structured in a manner that has almost like a tiered structure, kind of like a contact center. You've got your tier 1 team, you've got your tier 2. I've got a visual that can help explain that a little bit more. Step 3, enabling them to be efficient. So leveraging tools and automation, things like chat and co-browse. Chats are great because an HR team member can support more interactions with employees at the same time versus being locked in one phone call at a single time. Leveraging digital assistant or chatbots or an employee-facing knowledge base to deflect questions altogether is a much more efficient way to be. And then having those tools that are enabling self-service and chat and email and leveraging all of these channels that can allow an employee to access HR anytime that they need in the manner that they want it. And then leveraging, being measurable. Service Cloud for HR has a great reporting capability that allows you to gain insight not only to your own HR organization, but also leveraging it to gain insight into what's happening. Why are we getting so many inquiries about this type of situation? Why are we getting so many payroll issues in this particular group? Let's dig into that. Let's provide more training. Let's get ahead of this going forward. The other big thing from a reporting standpoint that we see a lot of HR organizations is being able to easily pull information about that employee, especially like an employee relations situation where you've got needs to pull a full history. If there's a grievance or disciplinary action or investigation that's happening, oftentimes we talk with HR teams and it's very difficult for them to pull this information. They're having to go to 15 different people to get emails and, going to different like SharePoint sites to pull files about that particular employee. It's a very cumbersome and time consuming. So when you have a centralized tool like Oracle Service Cloud, that makes that process and that headache a lot easier to accommodate. So just to intro, a little background noise here. Just to intro Service Cloud for HR, I just want to talk about some of the capabilities. So knowing you've got all of those challenges and you're trying to centralize and, what does Service Cloud for HR have to offer? So hopefully we can answer that. So just from an overall platform, Service Cloud kind of helps helps HR manage I guess in quotes, their customers. And who are their customers? employees, managers, candidates, applicants, sometimes vendors that they work on. Basically those are their customers. So how do they service them? There's all these different ways that they can come in, these channels: email, chat, text, potentially social media. And that's really where Service Cloud for HR comes in. It's a great tool to, one, enable self-service capabilities. There's a ton of self-service options, and I know Brian's going to show you a lot of these pieces. There's a support portal where they can go to search a robust knowledge base. There's a digital assistant, aka a chatbot, that you can enable to be that initial triage for that intake from those employees and managers and other vendors or candidates potentially. When an issue does need to be reported, there's an add and manage incident. There's inbound chat capabilities that you can publish on different parts of your portal. So there's a lot of really great features that you can use just as that initial triage, that self-service capability that ideally will just deflect or take care of a lot of the requests. If it does need to go back, and all of that feeds into the core area, what I call the core features of Service Cloud for HR, which is at its core capability, it's a case management, incident management tool. There's a centralized HR-facing knowledge base. There's live agent chat. There's various workflows that can be configured, different security for different levels of access. There's even capabilities for scripted Q&A or templated responses to be sent back to the employees. And there's also, at the end of this, there's also surveys and marketing, quote-unquote marketing, that you can do to your employee base based on information that's in Service Cloud. So it's a very comprehensive team. And all of that, of course, is going to be connected to your core HR platform. And the beautiful thing about Service Cloud is it's agnostic to the type of HR platform that you're on. You can be on PeopleSoft, you could be on HCM Cloud, you could be on EBS, you could be on Workday or SAP, whatever your back end core HR platform. That just feeds and can have really nice connection points between these two core HR platforms with Service Cloud and your core HR. And then, of course, at the end of it, there's a very comprehensive, robust set of analytics that are enabled within Service Cloud. Oracle is great. They've got 900 delivered reports that you can basically just, once this is implemented, you just take it and run with it. The really robust information that's captured as part of this tool. So with all of that implemented, what's the benefit? What are you going to realize as a customer? Well, it helps you improve the efficiency and visibility of your operations. It can enable that centralization. It helps with that multi-channel service. Oftentimes, customers are looking to standardize process. They take advantage of help desk to standardize those features. And, improved employee experience because you're giving them access to channels that they don't have. There may be some other functions that they have, giving consistent answers that improves their experience. Reporting and analytics are, a huge benefit of the tool. Some customers look at this from a cost reduction or ROI. We need to be more efficient and we need to save money on this. Well, the good news is with Service Cloud and setting up a organizational change, we can build a very nice business case or ROI story for this. And finally, these are kind of the main categories that we typically see. The last one is around compliance. Some customers implement just because they need to be able to have that traceability to be compliant about what was said, who was said, or comply with some kind of policy or regulation that they do. And if they don't have a tool to manage that and be able to report on that, it makes it very difficult for them to say that they are compliant to those policies. When you think about who can use a help desk, the great thing is basically any group in HR can use this. You can use it for your employee services center, HRIS, employee relations, payroll, benefits, talent acquisition, recruiters. They can all be using this tool in a very collaborative way and have all of that, from a HR leadership perspective, all be visible with it, from a reporting up the chain to your CHRO and VP of HR and those types. And it's all centralized within the HR help desk tool. And we've been through the ringer a lot. We've seen literally hundreds of different types of inquiries logged into the tool. It's all in a single platform and it's all measurable. Here's just a few examples of what you could potentially log, those employee and manager questions within there. And there's a whole slew of others, but just to give you a sample of what's available for this. So on that note, one of the main reasons we're here is to give a brief demo. So I'm going to pass the ball over to Brian. And Brian, you can take it away and show your stuff.
Solution consultant at Oracle, and I've been, as Keegan mentioned earlier, I've been doing this for quite a while, a couple of decades now, it feels like. And what I thought I'd do is just a quick little PowerPoint to kind of show us some of the highlights of the software solution set, and then we'll just dive right into the software, do a little role play, and since we have just a limited amount of time, maybe just look at it from a few different perspectives, probably self-service, then move more to HR staff person, then look at analytics or things like that. So assuming you guys can all see the screen here. So Keegan already laid out a bit about what our solution is, and this is just another way to look at it. We take, just like he said, our HR or solution can work with all kinds of different environments, but fundamentally we take our Oracle Service Cloud offering and all of its components and connect it to all the various back-end systems, and we provide a place where we can have a engaging environment for the employees, the managers, the candidates, the retirees, anyone, and a place where we can track the case management of all the issues and use our knowledge management and our interactive forms across all these different engagement methods, as well as the different user profiles there. And I thought we'd just kind of really fast look at some of the highlights of these building blocks that make up our solution. The first being we can engage anywhere. So we do deliver our own self-service web pages, as well as the ability to have bi-directional email interactions, and we provide a social interface. But we can also use our widgets and inlines to embed ourselves inside your own, intranets or on your portals, the HR portal, the company portal, inside, for example, the actual HR applications, and provide them with a place where they can search for the knowledge there or get assistance or provide proactive chat if they've been waiting on this page too long. There's also a place where we can launch other things like our interactive decisioning form, as well as maybe a chatbot will then pop up in this process so they can engage. And at the end of that process, we're usually trying to do some outreach, do a survey or things like that. But we can also use our segmentation engine to really create communications as well as surveys and things like that with or without an actual interaction on the application. Another key element of our solution is our knowledge management. So we provide a very rich repository where you can create your knowledge articles, and you can link them to elements of the employee profile to help personalize the content, so when they come in and search for it, they're seeing content specifically for them based on who they are in the organization or where they're located or what role they're in or those types of things. We also have a very unique offering in our interactive decisioning forms. And here's where you can use tools like Microsoft Word and Excel to design these from simple to very complex decisioning forms that can be used for case intake or for form generation or a variety of other things to help guide you through, well, how can I help you today? If you have a few questions for me, I can use that information plus the information on your profile to determine the next step for action or do something. And we're able to use these Microsoft Office tools to create the majority of it, and then just using our little macros, and then you, in a sense, publish it, and it becomes available as maybe a knowledge article or just a link on a web page that they can get to. Here's a quick example of what that might look like.
Hey, Brian. Sorry to interrupt you. You're just cutting out a little bit. I'm not sure if you can adjust your headset.
Okay.
It sounds better. Thank you.
Okay, great. And another key element of our solution is case management. And so here's where we're managing all the requests that come in, whether they're a real issue or just they had an inquiry and I gave them an easy answer back, or it's a complex issue that's going to take some time, like employee relations. A lot of the issues they deal with typically are, measured over days, months, years, maybe because of legal issues or grievance issues. Versus employee issues, I just need a simple figure out something that's wrong with my paycheck. And we also have a very rich reporting environment inside our solution. where we have a lot of pre-built reports and reporting tools so that you can create your own reports from it. Now, one of the things I want to highlight is we have a solution called Digital Assistant, and it's most commonly thought of as a chatbot, but it provides a lot of functionality. So this is a way for you to have a conversational interface for the employees, or even the HR staff could use it, as a way to engage them in an attempt to deflect them coming in and asking for assistance with a real human being. So this digital assistant or chatbot can reference information inside Service Cloud or the back-end HR system, such as, hey, tell me information about my paycheck, or other types of attributes, or help them fill out a form or do things like that. So it's a very effective way, and we're spending a lot of development effort enhancing it to provide not only functionalities, including you're going to hear about it in Open World next week, but also some pre-built skills so that we have a library of HR-specific, and we also have a library of specific and ERP-specific skills on these are the routines and references and how to handle it, so that when an employee interacts with it, there's some default ready-to-go logic that can connect to your HR system. Now, the solution we've been talking about so far, it's in place, in production, and a lot of different customers. Here's just a few of them so you can see that. And then let's get to the software. So right off the bat. So one of the things we can do right at that employee self-service environment is set up their, in a sense, their employee profile. So this is an example of Service Cloud, the employee portal, where they can just come here and see this environment. Really, you just kind of work with it to set up your branding, your look and feel, and things like that. I'm clicking to another page here. This is just another example of what the portal could look like. In this method, I can peruse around. I can drill into it. I can still search, and I can find different answers here. And it's just a different way to show it than this particular method here, right? They both are on my exact same Service Cloud instance, and they provide some functionality, what we call from the interface level, where you can have different look and feels or can restrict content to these different environments, all by having a different interface. And we have some other ways to do it as well, but this is one way you could, like some of our customers will put some of the knowledge on the other side of the firewall so that non-employees or even employees could access it, but to get to the personalized stuff, you've got to log in. And others will have multiple interfaces to deal with maybe how they're going to do geographical territories support for like EMEA, APAC in North America or something like that, right? So this is just one way they could, do that type of thing. Now, I thought we'd do here is on this portal, I'm going to go and search the knowledge base so I can just show you some examples of, hey, imagine we're searching for something about direct deposit. I'm going to open that up. I found my knowledge article. And this is collapsible section, some imagery inside of it, a decisioning step in the middle of it or anywhere. And then on every knowledge article, we can also have attachments. We can provide feedback. If I click no here, it'll generate a little dialog box and we'll get some feedback to the knowledge owner. But I can also share this or print it or subscribe to it, and keep in touch with it. So things like the holiday calendar policy and things like that. Like the holidays, I could subscribe, and whenever the knowledge article is changed, I'll get updated with the latest and greatest. Now, here we were looking at this direct deposit FAQ. I'm going to go to this other example, do the exact same thing. Let's search on direct deposit. Now, this is on the exact same Service Cloud instance. They both are, I'm serving up the exact same knowledge article to both people. But notice here, it just has a different look and feel on the framing of it, where I've got options on the right-hand side here to launch into ask questions and chat and things. I've got some relationship information here. This knowledge article is related to these other knowledge articles. And so as a knowledge administrators, you can, set these up ahead of time, or our natural language processing engine will learn over time just from usage and make the association for you and things like that. Okay, so while we're here, let me just show you a couple other things. Employee assistance, not a good speller here. So we take any, words or phrases and use that natural language process to mine the repository. This first one goes right to a video, or The second one, here's an example of, it's the video isn't embedded in here. But as I scroll down, you can see that there's other types of formatting you can have here, shading boxes, format control, stuff like that. And let's have about one more, at least 401k. We can see some other examples of how you might format a knowledge article. In this case, it's got shadings and tables in it. We support anchor controls and all kinds of things like that. We can link one knowledge article to another and things like that. Now, I happen to be logged in as a U.S.-based manager. I'm going to search on the word overtime here, and I'm seeing some results right here. In this case, just some knowledge articles that found that match, right? I'm going to switch over here to this other browser, and this is David Cole. He's a U.S.-based employee, but he's paid hourly. And David's going to do the exact same search at the exact same URL, and notice I'm getting some different results. So because of his profile, he's seeing these 2 additional knowledge articles to give him help, right? But he's seeing the exact same knowledge article for holiday pay. So if I drill on the holiday pay article, I can see there's a lot of content here that's specifically for me, right? I go back to my manager. He's drilling on the holiday pay article. He can see some other content here and includes information about how he's paid, plus information about, if he's got subordinates that are paid hourly as well, so that he can get to that detail. So again, this is just some quick samples of how we can use elements of the attributes on their profile to include or exclude the entire knowledge article, or maybe paragraph number 2 and an image and something like that will only be here if it matches that criteria. Now, a couple of things I want to show here. For example, I'm just going to this blank page. I'm going to click on this URL, and this is an example of, imagine you could place this URL inside your portal that you have, and when you go to that portal page, it would immediately launch it, and it would bring up, in this case, this is our interactive form saying, hey, I've got all these different procedures. Which one do you want to do? And they could click on one of these and get started in that process. And then each one will dynamically, based on what transaction you're trying to perform, may have one or many different questions that they would, pull up right from here, right? Now, just to show you, Oracle uses its own software. I'm going to start my Microsoft Edge browser. It's been told to go right to the Oracle employee portal, and I'm looking at, as my employee portal, and right here is a link directly to our own Service Cloud implementation for employee HR service, as well as we've got a blended environment here of HR and IT type environment here. So just want to show you some examples of that. Now, we have a lot of chatbot functionality as well, and we can use it in a variety of different channels. Here you're just seeing really quickly, we've got a couple of apps. We've got put in our Slack channel as well. I can do a variety of things here, like where do I find open positions? And the chat bot, in a sense, the digital assistant, is going to go and fetch the information, bring it back, and give me, in a sense, relevant content just from there. I can do something like, let's put a salary breakdown, something like that. And this is live software inside Oracle's firewall doing this. So here is bringing back some information, and I'm just clicking on the link, and it's taking me directly to the knowledge article inside Service Cloud. Oh, and I'm not logged in via VPN, so give me a second here. My two-factor authentication is kicking in here, and there's 599 secret number. Off we go, and there we go. Now I'm getting to see my knowledge article right out of Service Cloud in this instance. From Service, just telling me exactly what to do, right? So, okay, so for the sake of time, that's how we do. We're doing okay. Just rushing too much.
You're doing just fine, Brian. Take your time.
Great. One other thing I want to show you is, here's an example of what if we put some of our widgets, like in this case our chatbot widget, on a non-Oracle home page, somewhere like, imagine on your intranet, right, for example. So here's where I can, there's one way to start the process. I'm going to just click on the link. I'm going to engage with the chatbot directly. Let's say update type it in here, update my profile, and it's going to basically come back. There's a couple of places we could update your profile. Do you want the phone or the address? So select the address here. And so what we told the routine to basically do here is engage in a little bit of a conversation. I said I want to update a certain item like the address, display the current information, just in case it doesn't need to get updated, and then now let them actually perform the update, right? So I'm going to, let's see, how about 2815 East Lake Avenue, Sefo, California, 94016. So hopefully I typed it right and it's a valid address. Send that in. Now, our software then is using this to make sure, first off, if it is a valid address. If not, it would have come back and said, hey, you need to give us a valid address, make sure this is where you're moving to, right? And then second, we've done some analysis here as part of this to say, hey, since you're moving, there might be other implications that you want to take advantage of here, including, hey, you're moving to a higher tax rate state, and, would you like to know more information about it? Or in this case, when you want to go and actually update your W-4 right now for this, and we'll pull that in, and this is the current image of their W-4. We can pop right into it so they can see that value, and then make the changes right there and, complete that update that's out there, right? Let me show you just a few more examples here. So like what's my leave balance? Okay, of course, how about medical leave? Now, earlier today, I had this user get onto the Service Cloud self-service environment, and they were looking at some knowledge articles. From here, it's asking me some questions really about that. So would you like to apply for leave? And now that I said yes, it's went and looked at the short-term search history for this user that we capture, and that the Search Cloud captures, and then able to, make some assumption. Maybe it's related to an article that has some of the same phrases in it. And if so, okay, and then I said yes. And in a sense, on that article, there was some imagery that I would download or file. And I'm going to select that and upload it because that's what the knowledge article is telling me to do there, right? Now, of course, with every good demo, I've got a before story and an after. So here it is. I've completed the form, and our image recognition software at Oracle is analyzing it and has come back and said, hey, there's a problem. There's one of these fields. The signature one was not filled out. So here's my after story. And, of course, this one has the signature block in it. And off they go. And it's getting analyzed right now. And hopefully, I'm all set. And it'll tell me I'm good to go or whatever the next step is in the process. So here, perfect. I liked it, what I did here, right? Now, one last example to show you on the chatbot, or at least one more I go. This is around pay, right? So that's usually a common thing. So such as like, why is my paycheck amount different this week from last 2 weeks? And so set up their little routine. They'll go and do some instant calculations for certain things like this, like look at the last paycheck and do a difference and explain it here. And so if I want to know more information about it, like, can you show me the breakup of these extra hours or something like that? Off I go. And now this is to show you an example of like, okay, when the chatbot, in a sense, runs out of logic on what to do next, then there's a variety of ways we can get you to the next step, including transfer to live agent. We support things like escalation and those things. But here we set up so if we, maybe exceed the number of, interactions or other threshold, immediate or direct them if the question's, beyond what I've set up as my skill, immediately present some options to them so they could, open a ticket or talk to HR, IP phone or click to call or chat with HR in that process, right? Now, before we actually go and, let's say, chat, let's switch over to, this is an example of what an agent homepage could look like. So imagine this is an HR service center agent. And this could be their homepage. We've got a lot of reports, so it's a role-based dashboard. Here's, a lot of metrics that are, unique to this individual. There's really, whatever, you want to have as your metrics. Here's my daily workload, my current workload, where I can do inline editing right here on the request, as well as I've got an inbox that's, here's my workload in a sense I need to work on when I left last night and came back this morning, right? And kind of some metrics is flagging, whether they're meeting or not meeting some of the SLAs that are out there, right? Now let's get this agent logged into the chat queue and say, yep, I'm available to take a chat. And I'll go back here to my chat and we'll say, yep, let's chat with the live agent in this case. And notice here I've got a message, a pop-up toast notification to the agent. I'll accept the chat, and now I'm engaging back and forth with that employee. So a live handoff to the HR staff, and now they have at their disposal things like the entire chatbot. I'm scrolling on the log here. This is the chatbot, interactions that this person has been having with the chatbot prior to me getting here. I can also, it's opened up their profile. I can see information about them right here on that record. If I need to find out more information about pay, I can simply come here and we're going to pop and go. In this case, it's going to take me, pop a new window, build the URL and go through security to take me right to their paycheck. So here's where I could see their paycheck in their HR application or any other area out here. And then I have at my disposal as the chat agent all kinds of tools, for sending the knowledge-based articles or maybe using our smart text templates to automatically bring forward some automated answers and things like that. So here, for example, I'm just going to, let's just pop this knowledge article, a link to it right into the chat response. And if I switch over to the employee, there you can see, hey, this answer link came over right here, or I could have put the whole text over or something like that in that process, right? So let me switch gears once again here because we want to make sure I show a few more things here. Now I switched to a different agent here. It's like a different way to kind of do some of the interactions. And imagine we get a phone call from one of the employees or a walk-up or something like that. And this is an example of using our scripting interface to first off engage and make sure it's okay to talk to this contact, make sure they really are that employee. So you could put whatever field and information you want on the first page here and use that to validate, yep, that's their employee ID or their phone number or other value there. And if it doesn't match, maybe it's the spouse or something, we can go to the contact record details and do some more validation. But if it does, we'll keep track of that, verify it, and then jump to the next process, right? So the next part in this script is really first and foremost saying, how can I help you today? And it could be, at a high level, one of two things, something you already had an issue, or something new, right? So if historically you had an issue and that's why you're calling, I have at my disposal all of the case history with security though, so maybe I can't have access to all the cases, but I can find the information here, tell you who it's currently assigned to, where it's at. I could drill down into it if need be, those types of things, right? But I also I can see where you have been on the self-service portal environment, what knowledge articles, like you looked at the holiday pay article here, then you was looking at the news article here, you did some search on the word overtime. Now I can see what they've been doing because maybe that's what, hey, I was just on the website, I had this issue, I can see where he is and I can drill right into that. Now if it's a new issue, one of the ways we set up in this script is that let's make it so that it's within 2 clicks. We can get you to a contextual specific workspace that's specific to allow you to handle these types of issues. So what I'm doing here for the first one is let's just go as if it's a generic type of issue, maybe an address change or phone number change or something like that. And I'm brought to a workspace that by design I want it to look like this. So our administration tool allows you to add any field you want, any tab you want, change the layout, have any kind of look and feel you want. I chose for this one, in a sense, to have just 2 tabs, Here's the interaction thread that's going to go on back and forth with the employee if I need to excuse me, send them something. And then maybe some attachments or interactions I might keep track of, right? But if it's something more than that, I've got a button here that'll open up some other, tabs and other fields, and now I can get right onto the HR transaction system that's out there, right? So easily just take care of that issue, and complete the transaction, and just off I go, right? Now, let's imagine that the same employee calls again, but they've got a, slightly different issue. So here's Antonio's calling, and let's, how about this time it be pay or a benefit issue? How about that? And from here, notice I've got a different, subcategory of types of benefit issues, and we'll pick a life event, right? Now notice on purpose, this screen looks a little different, not just the colors and the buttons and things, but on purpose, since contextually this is a benefit type issue, let's bring up benefit assisting tools. So notice there's some buttons now on the right. Maybe it's just a benefit inquiry. I just click that button. It'll close the case and update the case with information about a simple inquiry or things like that. But in this case, it brought me to the interactive guide of the knowledge base as the first tab. And it's just going to kind of walk me through some questions here. And then based on how I answer them, it'll give me some agent text and also give me, like, here is the knowledge article, or click this link to take you right into the HR application to make the update or change right there. Now I can, let's say we change it, let's say from spouse to domestic partner. Notice the second, the nested questions below also change, and we can go and update it right here on the fly in our interaction, right? So the solution is very powerful. We have the ability for you to capture all of the issues or requests, use the tools like the knowledge base and the guided assistance and the popping into either co-browse or maybe right onto the HR application to resolve it. And then more importantly, we can also categorize these issues. Here, it automatically categorized it, but I could maybe further categorize it. Maybe it's a marriage-specific issue. I've got an assignment, so if I want to change, let's say I couldn't resolve it, I took it this far, I could reassign it to somebody right here, or I could just assign it to a group, for example, like to the Benefits Center of Excellence, or we can let our workflow do a lot of that ourselves. So I'm just going to click the Benefits Center of Excellence button here. It's going to give me a little message about what's going to happen here. It's going to let the agent know that we're going to take care of updating the case. We'll close it out for you. It's going to route it to the Center of Excellence. We're going to update, the SLA with information, et cetera, and then off to your next call right from there. So with that, we kind of covered a lot of information. I just wanted to kind of highlight that, first off, we have a very rich self-service engaging platform that can come across any type of channel, chat, chatbot, proactive chat, options, email, web, others, as well as we have a very rich workspace environment for the agents or the staff to work the issues, task management, relationships, nesting cases, things like that. And we also have a very rich analytical environment where we can provide these role-based dashboards and reports for the users, and then also provide reports at your different roles. You may have multiple different dashboards like a supervisor or manager to get their own report. We can also set up our reports so that they come in a scheduled manner. So I'm bringing up one right here. So I have my little demo server every Monday morning. It just emails me what's been going on in my demo server with this report, right? So you can get the analytical insight on a recurring basis automatically from the application, and we can use it to really create the reports or the environments that you want to see. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Keegan.
Awesome stuff, man. Good job. That it's really, I think, as you can see, a very robust tool. And to round up this webinar, I just wanted to share a quick real life customer transformation that we did using this product. I can't name names on it, just part of our confidentiality with our customers, but at least we can talk about the use case with it. So when we first started with a customer, they had some challenge. They were providing their service using literally walk-up kiosks. and they had some ad hoc phone numbers that they would use. And it was a very disorganized way. It was a lot of the who you know channel. They had no centralized case management. They had no self-service. They had no knowledge base for self-helping. They had no modern channels like chat or chatbot or any kind of integration or a real measurement to their leadership about what they were doing. They didn't have any kind of standardization on the communications. And so we brought in Service Cloud in partnership with Oracle, and we really focused on both organizational change and then also leveraging Service Cloud for HR to be that main intake for deflection through those modern channels. And we introduced the centralized case management. They are working through a telephony integration. We implemented the chatbot capabilities that's going to eventually tie into their agent chat capabilities. They have an inbound, outbound email integration. We're creating forms for them from an OPA standpoint that can be used for various degrees of intake. And they're using that knowledge base as a means for both the digital assistant and that searchable knowledge base that Brian showed you to help deflect questions altogether. And then they're undergoing an HR portal transformation, so they're redoing their entire HR portal in another Oracle product called Content and Experience Cloud. We're just about to kick that off as well. We built all kinds of extensive workflow using the tool. They rebuilt and redesigned their communication standardization, and then they also set up for the integrations with their PeopleSoft customers. So they have a lot of connection points for digital assistant, kind of like what Brian showed you, to update PeopleSoft with the digital assistant transactions that were coming, plus other transactions that were stemming from Service Cloud for HR that were outside of the digital assistant. So really kind of comprehensive foot. And what that enabled is it really helped them set up a very structured, very organized, very measurable call center setup, kind of like what you're seeing here, where they've got a lot of the tier 0 capabilities, knowledge base, chatbot, chat, that searchable knowledge base, in conjunction with their manager and employee self-service. It was all set up in that tiered structure, so it really enabled their employees and managers, instead of going to a kiosk and wasting all their time, they had that 24/7 access to use all these tools to access their HR. And then they have all of the different tier 1. They had a group that they set up that was there for servicing, that kind of being that first line of defense, that tier 1 team, to take all of those inbound chats, all those emails, all those phone calls that they might be getting, and using the tool to be more efficient in servicing them, leveraging the knowledge base and standardized templates. And then they would only escalate to that tier 2 when it was necessary. Maybe it was a complex issue, but it would the ROI that they saw was that they were able to take a lot of those questions that were often being routed to payroll and employee relations that really shouldn't have been, and they realigned those to those more efficient channels, and they put together a pretty nice ROI for it. So at this point, I think we've got some information about pulling together a business case and ROI. I'm just going to kind of go through this really quickly because I want to open this up to questions that you have for the last 10 minutes. But essentially, you can put together a really nice business case for this tool using different qualitative and quantitative benefits. Qualitative being improved satisfaction from your employees, reduction in answer shopping, improved efficiency and ROI can be captured from leveraging automation and those tools, and you can decrease risk, which can have both quantitative and qualitative benefits for your organization. Improve visibility, things like that. These are all kind of factors that can pull into there. And we can look at it, get pretty granular with these ROIs in terms of reduced handle time, increased first resolution, call deflection via that self-service, and having Service Cloud as that centralized tool can help you measure those and really kind of articulate to your leadership, hey, we invested in this product, and here's the numbers. Here's the number of inquiries that we deflected that you can put some degree of a cost to, and say, hey, this is the savings that we've already realized by having this kind of tool. So really neat kind of stuff, and we have a calculator that we can walk through with you and work through some of these calculations, and we put that together and formulate an overall total cost of ownership for the application and an ROI from a 5 or 10 year standpoint. So at this point, thank you very much for all of your attention. We threw a lot of information at you. We've got some very, a lot of knowledge, in-house tribal knowledge that we can share with you. I'm going to just